Today, I want to get into Suga possibly upset over the military invasion claims that he has to constantly deal with. We also have Suga crying allegedly over BTS at his concert and then his enlistment date. And then we have RM addressing the truth over his feelings on some stuff. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave. Decide hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your Dumplings, his spring mug merch, and let's go. We need to talk about something RM said recently that has gotten armies shook. RM is very real, and when he talks, it's not coming from a place of delusion, unlike some of what the people on Twitter like to say. A lot of the assumptions people have made about BTS have very quickly been debunked by RM, but let me give some backstory on what happened here today. When we think or hear that a person has a specific talent, we tend to think that was their first choice or that they're enjoying doing that the most. We don't tend to assume that they can't do anything else, as we tend to think people we like who are talented could do anything they put their mind to. And I still think that's true, though, for the most part. But anyway, the world doesn't always work in that way you think, and sometimes the thing you're most passionate about may not be what you're strongest for, or it just may not be what the world wants right now. For example, there was definitely an era in which people were excited to watch covers on YouTube. And there's still viral covers, but overall people have stopped making them just because they don't do as well. Channels have more luck making music-related videos than they are simply just making creative covers of trendy songs. So if you're a smart channel and you see that decline in viewership, you may choose to instead focus your attention on videos that would do better now, whatever that is. The same logic is what applies to people in the music industry and or what labels think about. Labels have so many people whose job it is to literally spot trends right before it happens and get their idols or talent to participate in it. They have a team to do research on the most trendy colors, outfits, styles, and sound. So when that artist has a comeback, they can do all that and increase their chances of being successful. The marketing of the content in the eyes of the industry becomes more important than the actual content. So why am I bringing this up today? Well, people thought that RM was saying that he did not enjoy rapping and would prefer singing. During a live stream for BTS's recent festa, RM got a phone call from a person posing as a fan, and it was Jungkook. RM then talked about how if he had Jungkook's voice, he would have sang rather than rapped, and people took this as RM doesn't enjoy rapping. Well, it's obvious that RM can sing, but even in his album Indigo, he doesn't really sing too much because he knows that singing is not his strongest skill and would prefer if others who it is their strong suit to take over. Singing definitely has a different connotation than rapping. I think rapping for a lot of Asians is still seen as not as talented or would still not be well liked by an older generation. So RM actually saying that statement would imply that maybe he would be more accepted by all age groups if he sang. I don't know. That is just my theory. But I think it's interesting because this is a big truth and it shows that he is aware. Many singers or rappers would come into the scene to say that everyone loves what they do, even if it's not true, and sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. So to acknowledge the sort of gray area that is very intelligent and has a very down-to-earth mindset. It's very interesting to see how the boys are often perceived by the general public, and I think there are stereotypes that exist in America where most Asian men are socially awkward, and that idea comes from the stereotype that Asian men don't understand what's happening, and a lot of that is just comes from either them not knowing English, so they don't know what's going on, or in my case, if you're growing up worrying about what to eat and not make too much noise because you don't want your immigrant family to be deported, then why would I care what Beyonce is up to? And why would I have anything to contribute to that conversation? And then also because I am so on edge and scared, I would prefer to hide in the bathroom and avoid all conversation. So never just take what people are saying. There's a reason behind why people act the way they do. Because stereotypes come from one person, maybe meeting 10 people that were the same way, and then they believe everyone is that way. But all of those 10 people might have the same immigration story. Just a side note there. BTS members deal with what people are saying in a bit of a different way because they're not seen as socially awkward, and it would be odd if they were because they are well-traveled, rich, and have met tons of people. However, what they get criticized for the most makes little sense as well. Suga is criticized for evading the military. There was this conversation where Kai from EXO had attempted to allegedly evade the service. However, this is false. He literally enlisted recently silently, and there was no issue. The reason he was even accused of evading was because he postponed the service. So if you're allowed a certain number of postponements when duty calls, I think it's like 5 or something. So if you're called today, they give you the date, and then if you don't agree or have a reason to not go, you're allowed to file to delay that. And I think they wait a few months or something before they call you again. This is legal and allowed. Evading the service is not legal. These are not the same thing. One is literally the government asking you, you want to go now or wait, and you're allowed to wait. The other option is saying that he's not even getting permission from the government. He is just leaving. But because of this mindset, Suga was accused of evading as well. They were saying that he is sort of at the age where he needs to go and should go now. People were then arguing and saying that BTS has a law that was made specifically for them to get that additional 2 years of postponement. So Suga does not have to legally go now. The idea here is that some people are upset that Suga is using that or taking advantage of that. And why wouldn't he? I would imagine if a law was made specific for you and you're just like, yeah, I'm not going to take advantage of that. This would also give less incentive for the government to ever create more laws for K-pop idols in the future. People then were leaving tweets to say that Suga is literally evading and then doing concerts. And this is not the same as evading. He is just not going now. And the people who are pushing him to go have no reason to do that. I imagine this as some really unhealthy guy in his mom's basement typing at a computer who hasn't contributed anything to society, complaining about how Suga needs to contribute more to Korea. Meanwhile, they're not even Korean. Him enlisting makes no difference to their country. People think that if Suga were to read these comments, he'd be upset. And he has had a song not too long ago where Suga addressed the military enlistment. This was for the song What Do You Think? And the song lyric has a part where he says he will go when it's time, and for those who have attempted to freeload off of BTS's name can leave. This is likely referring to the idea that news articles and media outlets have constantly been trying to use the idea that BTS may not go as a story or accuse BTS of invading. So Suga has definitely been upset, which is why that lyric exists, I think. The topic of Suga enlisting came back again when recently Suga did a show and was seen allegedly crying after doing the song Life Goes On. In the clip, you can hear even armies at the concert to believe that he was crying. But when the clip got circulated on Twitter, people were quick to believe he was doing a rendition of BTS's Life Goes On and was crying because BTS is not together right now. And then some people were saying that Suga was crying because of this idea that BTS may never reunite or that it'll take a long time before they reunite. And this is a moment where I say the fandom sometimes just likes to be sad. Like they just enjoy the idea of being sad because it definitely was not supposed to be sad. However, Suga has a song called Life Goes On where it's just him, and so I don't know if this particular moment was about BTS, but more so about something else. I don't know what it is, as you can't tell from the clips, but there were definitely some tweets to say that Suga was not crying, but it was just a lot of sweat. He's doing a full set and it's hot up there. I don't think people realize how hot the lights are on both film and on stage, and then especially if you're moving around, it'll feel hot. It's like standing in front of a heater, especially when you're sweating, it can feel like that. One of the first things they teach you in film school when dealing with filming and studio lights is don't put a piece of paper in front of it. They have filters, but never put paper because they will literally light on fire. That is how hot they are. So every crevice of your face will be sweating. So it's very much likely to be sweat and not tears. If you want to check out Life Goes On by August D, we do react to the beautiful song over on Patreon, and it's such a fun song to listen to. We do have a $1 tier that is currently open where you'll have access to literally hundreds of videos, so I hope to see you there, link in the description. Then there was another theory where people felt like maybe this was Suga's way of saying he will enlist soon, and people do believe he will enlist at the end of his tour, which is soon, and sure, that's possible. However, people also think that the song was supposed to represent life going on after the enlistment. The thing is, I personally don't know if the members are super sad about the enlistment. They could be sad the day of when they say bye or whatever, but to be sad as if that's the only thing they're ever thinking about, I think it's a lot of what the fandom thinks about. I think they worry about it a ton, but I think the 50 million things they have going on to think about on the daily takes more precedent than this idea that they have to enlist soon. I think the boys are more so thinking that they don't want to leave HYBE high and dry and just go. They want to make sure HYBE is good, and they want to make sure that ARMY is good before they go. So the fact that Suga did this world tour is his way of giving ARMYs a gift before he goes. Things like that are probably more top of mind. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. I think it's this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.